My doctor looked at my chart, looked at me, and said, "I don't know what you changed, but whatever it is, keep doing it." 6 months earlier, he was telling me I needed a third blood pressure medication. What changed wasn't a new pill. It wasn't a special diet I found online. It was three things. Things I already had in my kitchen. Things my grandmother used every single day of her life. And she never once sat in a cardiologist's office. I'm going to show you exactly what they are. Number 2 on this list is going to surprise you, because most people throw it away. People manage their heart health through food for most of human history. That knowledge didn't disappear because it stopped working. It disappeared because there's no money in a garlic bulb. Here are the three things. Let's get into it. Number 1, and I know what you're thinking, garlic, really? Stay with me for 60 seconds. Because most people use garlic completely wrong and get almost none of the benefit. The compound that does the cardiovascular work in garlic is called allicin. Heat destroys it. The pre-minced garlic in a jar, gone. The garlic powder in your spice cabinet, gone. The garlic you throw straight into a hot pan, gone before it hits the oil. Allicin only forms when you crush or chop a raw clove, and it only survives if you let it sit for 10 minutes before it touches heat or your mouth. 10 minutes. That's the step nobody tells you about. A review published in the Journal of Nutrition found that raw garlic produces measurable reductions in blood pressure comparable in some studies to first-line prescription medications. Which causes blood vessels to relax and widen. Wider vessels, lower pressure, basic physics, one raw clove. Crush it. Wait 10 minutes. Eat it with food every single day. My grandmother called it her daily medicine, and she said it laughing, like it was obvious. It was obvious. We just forgot. It wasn't the garlic alone that moved my numbers. It was what I combined it with. And number 2 is the one that genuinely shocked me. The remedies that last for centuries, last for a reason. Not because people believed in them, because they worked. Number 2. And this one, I'm going to be honest, I almost didn't include it because I thought people wouldn't believe me. Hibiscus tea, that deep red, slightly tart tea you might have seen on a menu and never ordered. Cultures across Egypt, Mexico, West Africa, the Caribbean, they've been drinking this daily for centuries. Different countries, different languages. Now here's the part that stopped me cold when I read it. A randomized controlled trial out of Tufts University found that 3 cups of hibiscus tea per day lowered systolic blood pressure by an average of 7 points in 6 weeks. 7 points is not nothing. 7 points is what some medications deliver. The compounds responsible, anthocyanins, the pigments that make hibiscus that dark red color, act as natural ACE inhibitors. ACE inhibitors are a class of prescription blood pressure medication. Hibiscus does the same thing, naturally, for about $3 a bag. The method? 2 teaspoons of dried hibiscus flowers, or 1 tea bag, steeped in hot water for 5 minutes. Cups through the day, morning, midday, afternoon. A small spoon of raw honey if you need it sweeter. They're working on completely different pathways at the same time. Garlic opens the vessels. Hibiscus stops them from being told to close, but number 3 is the one that most people are already using, just completely wrong. And fixing that one mistake might matter more than either of the first 2. There's a strange thing that happens when food becomes too cheap and too easy. We stop respecting it. We stop understanding it. We stop asking what it actually does inside the body. The people who used these things daily, they knew, not the science, but the result, and they passed it down. Number 3, extra virgin olive oil. In the ancient Mediterranean world, Greece, Rome, biblical Israel, olive oil wasn't primarily a cooking fat. And the populations that used it most had some of the lowest rates of cardiovascular disease ever recorded. For years, scientists thought the benefit was just the healthy fat profile. But the bigger story is a compound called oleocanthal. Oleocanthal acts in the body almost identically to ibuprofen, a natural anti-inflammatory at the molecular level. Chronic inflammation is one of the primary drivers of arterial stiffness and high blood pressure. Oleocanthal addresses it the same way ibuprofen does, without the long-term damage to your stomach and kidneys. Here's the one thing you have to know. Oleocanthal is destroyed by high heat. The moment your olive oil starts to smoke in the pan, it's gone. The light olive oils, the refined blends in giant plastic jugs, most of the therapeutic compounds were already gone before you opened the bottle. The right way, 1 to 2 tablespoons of good quality extra virgin olive oil taken raw on a salad. Drizzled over roasted vegetables after they come off the heat, not during. Dipped with bread. Anywhere cold or warm, never hot. My grandmother kept a small bottle on the table. Not the kitchen, the table. It went on everything at the table, already cooked. She didn't know the word oleocanthal. She just knew that was how you used it. It's the thing that took me longest to see. These 3 aren't just 3 separate remedies. They're a system. And they work together in a way that makes each one more effective. Garlic works from the inside, triggering nitric oxide, physically relaxing the vessels. Hibiscus works at the hormonal level, blocking the enzyme that signals vessels to tighten. Olive oil works at the root, reducing the inflammation that makes arterial walls stiff and unresponsive in the first place. 3 different mechanisms, 3 different entry points, all running at the same time. That's not a coincidence. It's what a real food-based approach to cardiovascular health looks like when it's done correctly. The pharmaceutical model works differently. 1 drug, 1 mechanism, 1 target. When it stops working, raise the dose. Add another drug. That model is enormously profitable. It is not the same thing as restoring health. The old model, the kitchen model, worked on the whole system at once, because the people who built it over generations weren't optimizing for profit. They were optimizing for what made people live longer. And the remarkable part is that we now have the science to explain exactly why it worked. The mechanisms are understood. The clinical trials have been run. The results are consistent. Garlic, the hibiscus, the olive oil, none of this is folklore anymore. It's biochemistry. We just finally have the language for it. I want to tell you what happened at that appointment. 6 months of 1 raw garlic clove every morning. 3 cups of hibiscus tea through the day. Olive oil on everything, always cold. And yes, walking more, sleeping better. Less processed food. It wasn't just the 3 things, but the 3 things were the foundation. Systolic was down 14 points. My diastolic was down 9. My doctor said, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. I told my neighbor the same thing I'm telling you now. Start with the garlic. Just that. 1 raw crushed clove every morning for 2 weeks. Notice how you feel. Then add the hibiscus. Then look honestly at your olive oil and how you're using it. Small changes. Done consistently. That's the whole method. My grandmother didn't eat perfectly. Her kitchen wasn't a health food store. She made things that were too rich, and she ate dessert without guilt. But she had these foundations in place every single day, built into how she cooked, not bolted on as an afterthought. Food was medicine to her. Not medicine she resented. Medicine that smelled good and tasted good and kept her out of a cardiologist's office until she was 94. We can get back to that. It doesn't require a prescription. It just requires knowing where to look. My grandmother had a small ceramic bowl on her kitchen windowsill. Garlic in it, always. I asked her once why she kept it right there, right where she'd see it every morning. She said, "Things you can see, you remember to use." That's the whole philosophy. Not complicated, not expensive, just knowledge. And the habit of using it. There's one more thing from that generation of kitchens, something almost no one talks about anymore, that works on the inflammation underneath blood pressure in a way that genuinely surprised me. I'll cover that next time. Keep that garlic where you can see it.